Hi guys, it's Dr. Mohammad Usman and I am back with another video. If you haven't liked my YouTube channel, do visit my YouTube channel and like and subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay updated. You can also visit my Facebook page for updates. So let's talk about today's topic. So today we'll be talking about pair T confidence test. Basically, this pair T confidence interval and test will provide you an analysis for the differences between paired observation. These procedures are used to determine if the means different for the population is likely to be different from a reference value, which is usually a zero value. So when we are working on this one, you need to know that what are the uses of this one. It is used to determine whether two different groups differ from among each other. Like anytime if you want to take pair of measurement under similar conditions, the samples are dependent. To make comparison between the means of dependent groups, a pair t-test is more appropriate and more powerful test than the two sample t-test. It is on the second note used to evaluate result of a before and after study. A common example of dependent data is a before and after study in which subjects are measured before and after receiving some treatment. So using a pair t-test to compare before and after measurements of the same subject and to determine any difference exists or not. The data in the pair t-test must be a numeric measurements of two dependent samples. If the samples are independent, compare them with two sample t-test. If the samples are dependent, then you need to use the pair t-test. So when we are using the pair t-test, we need to analyze the different samples based on your data available. So when we are talking about today, we will be using data of a heart rate, and which will be on the basis of 15 randomly selected people, and these are then placed on the running program and measured again 1 year later. So we have a before and after data. So how you will do that? We will go into the open worksheet, and today's worksheet we need to find out over here, which is running.mtw. We will just find out over here. Here it is. When you will click it, it will open it. So over here you can see that you have a before and after difference over here. Before and after data, and the difference over here, like 68 and 67 has a difference of 1. So it also gives you a difference, and it also tells you about the data. So to conduct this test, we will go over here, basic stats, and here you can find the pair t-test. You will click it, pair t-test, and you will have each sample in an on column. So over here, if you cannot see the sample, you will just click here. In one column you will click before, in second one you will click after. And over here you have options like if you want to change the confidence interval, we will not change at this moment. And you have an option of 3 different graphs. So I will just check out all the 3 different graphs, so I will explain it when they are made. So when you will click over here, the 3 graphs will be made. Over here we will talk them about what they are telling at different moment. So in the start, you have the pair T for before and after. You can see that there are 15 variables, and after there are also 15 similar variables. The difference of the number of variables is also for 15, because before and after variables are the same. So over here you can see that there is a mean of 74.667 in before one, and after there is 72. Standard deviation 3.4, after 3.2. Standard mean you have 0.898, and after 0.826. So basically it is telling you 95% confidence interval mean difference lies between 0.477 and 4.910, and it also explains you the p value and the t value. So based on this data, you can see that the h naught, the mean difference, is equal to 0, and alternative mean difference is not equal to 0. So we have to test that, and we have tested it during the pair t-test. And when we have the pair t-test result, it is also telling you that the interval is based on the sample data. You can say that 95% of confidence interval that the value is greater or equal to 0.477 and less or equal to 4.190. Since the reference value is 0, is not within the confidence interval, you can reject h naught with 95% confidence interval and conclude that your pair t-test value is not 0. So basically this test will is telling you that for heart rate data, the t value is 2.70 and associated p value is 0.017. This p-value indicates that there is only 1.7% of chance that you will have obtained your sample difference if your actual value was 0. So basically, basis on this one, we have 3 different graphs over here, and which I said that I will be describing. First of all, we will talk about the histogram, and when we are talking about the histogram, we can say that the rate of the difference seem to indicate that they are roughly normally distributed, and the graph also illustrates that your h0 lies over the 0, and the value of your difference is likely to be greater than the 0, so it lies in this range around above 2. So since the value is 0 smaller than those within the confidence interval, so this graph will tell you that your value doesn't lie between the h0 and your h0 is likely to fail. Secondly, when we are talking about the individual plot, we will talk about like the individual plot of the heart rate data illustrate that most of the differences are positive and range between 3 to 9. If you can see that above here, most of the differences are between this range -3 to +9. I am talking about this one. So when we are talking about these differences, this graph also illustrates that your paired t-test is likely to be greater than the reference value specified by the null hypothesis h0. Since this value is smaller than those within the confidence interval, thus it seems that the heart rate before treatment was significantly higher than heart rate after the treatment. So it tell you that in simple words, that heart rate before the treatment was significantly higher than the heart rate after the treatment, so heart rate have become lower. And the last plot we are having over here is the box plot. Basically, box plot box plot also provides you the same data, and it indicates that median difference is very close to mean, 2.333. Over here you can see both median and mean are greater than the reference value specified h0, because we specified the value around considering that it is equal to 0, but it is greater than the 0. So therefore we know that approximately 75% of the sample differences are greater than the 0. If we consider from over here, we can say that 75% are greater than the 0, and it seems unlikely that your paired t-test difference will be 0. So the 95% confidence interval has also showed you that the value is greater than 0. So when you are talking about paired t-test and the results, all 3 values are telling you the same difference. So it can tell you that before the difference was greater of the heart rate, and after the difference was greater. So this is the way that how you calculate the paired t-test value for your data that is dependent on each other, and it will also help you to find out difference between 2 different groups. So I think so you must have learned from this video. If you have any comments, you can just comment on my YouTube channel, and I will be happy to explain them. So this video was up to here. If you like my video, do visit my YouTube channel and like and subscribe to it. You can also earn training certificate from our video channel. The process is as follows, and it is easy for you. We have issued many certificates for many participants, and you can also get special certificates. So what you are waiting for? Go today to my YouTube channel and like and subscribe to it. Thank you.